further expansion of investment in leading-edge programs for adolescents across many domains is critical to India's future. And now, to give the opening remarks, may I please call upon Dr. Rodrigo Ofren, WHO representative to India, technical guidance and operational leadership during COVID-19 pandemic in Southeast Asia region. Over to you, sir.
Apurva Chandra, Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Mr. Radna Patnaik, our ASN MD for the NHM, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Shri Anand Rao Patil, our Additional Secretary for Ministry of Education. Of course, Mr. Rajat Khosla, our Executive Director at PMNCH. Dignitaries of the dais, partners, friends, fellow champions of adolescents and adolescent health. Namaskar. It is my privilege to welcome you to this interministerial dissemination meeting for the investment case and measurement framework for adolescent health and well-being in India. The timing of this discourse is opportune as this marks the 30th anniversary of the International Conference on Population and Development, which, as you know, prioritizes the adolescent and youth agenda. Under India's G20 presidency, the socio-economic cost of inaction was emphasized under the Health of Youth, Wealth of Nation event, which highlighted the criticality of investing in the youth and their health as a driver for economic growth. India's demographic dividend is projected to peak in 2045, allowing us 2 decades to effectively harness this potential. To reap its benefits, the Government of India is introducing new schemes and increasing allocations for educational and training of youth while demonstrating a clear commitment to tackling unemployment and fostering youth. The union budget includes noteworthy opportunities for skill development for youth. The skilling initiative will benefit 2 crore youth in the next 5 years. Realizing this, India, which is home to the world's largest adolescent population of 253 million, has invested in several initiatives and programs to enable adolescents and youth to achieve their full developmental potential. The country has recorded notable achievements across the development indicators, including declines in teenage marriage, pregnancy rates, as well as maternal mortality. India is now building on these triumphs to sustain and accelerate the gains. The Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, or RKSK as we know it, Telemanas, National School Health Program and Wellness Program, and the Peer Educator Program, adolescent-friendly health clinics, are key initiatives that provide entry points for the comprehensive support to adolescents, addressing their diverse health needs. Convergence of various government schemes represents a powerful opportunity to unlock the potential of India's adolescents and youth. We at WHO are supporting the country for leveraging program strengths, evidence generation for formulating responsive policies. Our Global Action for Measurement of Adolescent Health, or the GAMA initiative, aims to harmonize global efforts on adolescent health measurement and provide valuable data for effective policy and programmatic decisions. As we transition to the next era of development, we must acknowledge that things must be done further to accelerate progress and sustain these gains. Dear friends, global and national partnerships play a pivotal role. Today, we are unveiling 2 important components for the well-being of adolescents: the India Adolescent Investment Case Report and the Adolescent Measurement Framework. This India Investment Case Report arrives, as I said, at a pivotal moment when the country is experiencing rapid development. The report is based on strong foundations of series of consultations, which include the multi-stakeholder consultation. We have come together, many of you were there, in April 2024 to provide country context to these studies. The consultation with expert group from various sectors was also ongoing.
And both intentional and unintentional injuries. Ladies and gentlemen, we now will welcome Mr. Rajat Khosla, Executive Director, Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health. Mr. Khosla took over this position on 15th of May 2024. Over the last 20 years, his work has focused on global health and inequalities, sexual and reproductive health and rights, gender equality, and health equity. He has published widely in academic publications. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, it's a great pleasure to be with you all today. In the next few minutes that are available to me, I will break down my remarks in 4 distinct categories. The first is the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health and a relationship with India. The second is the need and the imperative to invest in adolescent health and well-being. The third is the leadership of Government of India. And then finally, to look at issues in terms of the need to continue with collective action. Colleagues, dear friends, as I said, it's a great pleasure to be with you here today. And for one reason over and above any, because it was here in Delhi that almost 20 years ago that the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health was born under the leadership of Government of India. It was in 2004 that a meeting took place that led to the pathway of establishment of this partnership. Our mission then, as now, was to unite the diverse partners for the well-being of women, children and adolescents. Today, I'm honored to stand before you representing a network of 1,500 partners in over 120 countries. But importantly and at a personal level, I'm equally honored to stand in front of you as the first Indian national to take over the role of the Executive Director of the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health. I move on to the focus of our conversation today and the need to invest in adolescent well-being. Dear colleagues, thank you for joining us today. Because you being here today is a testament to your commitment to adolescents of the world. Various numbers have been cited already, but let's not forget, we are talking about the lives and well-being of 1.3 billion people in the world, 1/5 of which are living in India. To fully realize the potential of these future leaders of the world, we need to substantially invest in education and skills, health, employment opportunities, etc. The Government of India's leadership in prioritizing adolescent well-being is commendable, and I'll give you a few more examples in a minute, but it also sets a powerful example for other countries around the world to follow the suit. Because let's be clear, investments made with adolescents is not just going to ensure a sustainable future for us all, but it impacts our lives, our well-being, our societies, our families. Today's adolescents and youth are more educated, more mobile, more tech-savvy, and more aware of their rights. They offer great hope for the coming years, yet much more remains to be done and to ensure that these adolescents are not left behind. Last year we saw 1.6 million young people from 90 countries join us to chart what is called as the Agenda for Action for Adolescents. Their demands reflect the need for change and challenges that they face in terms of a multi-sectorality of action that is needed to deliver. All is not good with the world's adolescents. They face challenges today. They face challenges when it comes to violence. They face challenges when it comes to issues in terms of early pregnancies. They face challenges when it comes to employment and education outcomes. And this is where I do turn to the need for collective action and addressing these issues from an interconnectedness and intersectorality perspective. And I move to the leadership that has been shown by India over the decades and in recent past as well. And I do have to tell you, there was a previous version of this speech that I wrote, which started, and this was pre the budget speech by the Honorable Finance Minister, which started with the caption of that, "Ye dil mange more." But I think the Finance Minister has hit the charts running in terms of the Government of India's commitment when it comes to investments in the future of adolescents of this country. The investment case that we are launching today underscores the economic and social imperatives of investing in adolescent health well-being by providing actionable insights to policymakers for comprehensive roadmap of action. And this aligns very fantastically, and we did not plan it this way, with the Union Budget 2024-25, which talks about a comprehensive 2 lakh crore investment, which is 26.67 billion package aimed at education, job creation, skill development, employment-linked incentives benefiting 1.4 crore people in this country. If this does not deserve an applause, I don't think anything else does. This budgetary allocation further reinforces the Government of India's commitment to investment in the future of India's adolescent and youth, creating enabling environment and providing them with the necessary resources. Just look at the details of the program, such as in terms of skills building, apprenticeships, etc. And what is important, and this is where we as partnership and what we can do in terms of leveraging action becomes important, because India today stands as a beacon of hope for not only just middle income countries which are similarly predisposed with the relatively comparable GDP ratios, but also to the rest of the world. Because India is showing that this can be done, and this can be done with determination and grit to deliver this. Earlier this year in May, we launched the global case for adolescent, and you'll hear fantastic numbers in terms of benefits and returns on investment for every rupee invested on the lives of adolescents, but also for the economies and the social well-being of our societies. What is important today is for us to act, and to act with the same determination that we are seeing in this room, and you'll hear from Honorable Secretary of Health, Mr. Chandra, and others in a moment's time on what are the plans for the future. There have never been more adolescents and youth as they are now. However, for this demographic dividend, the window will start closing from 2050 onwards. So a period to act is now, and it is very small. The capabilities young people develop today will enhance our societies for the future and help address the challenges not only for today, but what we will confront in the future. Our partnership, your partnership for maternal, newborn and child health stands ready to support the Government of India and partners in their ambitious, visionary efforts to improve adolescent health and well-being. I'm confident that with our collective efforts, we can create an environment where every adolescent thrives to their full potential. Together, we can ensure that investments in adolescent well-being translate into meaningful, lasting improvement in their lives. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here, despite the 12-hour airline flight that one takes to get here. But I think the links between Australia and India have grown immensely. It's surprising the number of people that I meet here who say, "Oh, I was in Melbourne only 3 weeks ago, and my daughter's working there," or whatever. So it is a pleasure to be here. And thank you very much, Rajat, if I may say, call him that, and Dr. Roderico for their contextual remarks. They were very valuable and probably took some of the wind out of my sails, but we need to put up with that. And particularly, I would thank very much for the esteemed panelists who are going to follow me, and appreciate that they have taken the trouble and out of what is a parliamentary session to be here. So thank you very much for the secretaries and the secretaries. Pleasure to be here, despite the 12-hour airline flight that one takes to get here. But I think the links between Australia and India have grown immensely. It's surprising the number of people that I meet here who say, "Oh, I was in Melbourne only 3 weeks ago, and my daughter's working there," or whatever. So it is a pleasure to be here. And thank you very much, Rajat, if I may say, call him that, and Dr. Roderico for their contextual remarks. They were very valuable and probably took some of the wind out of my sails, but we need to put up with that. And particularly, I would thank very much for the esteemed panellists who are going to follow me, and appreciate that they have taken the trouble and out of what is a parliamentary session to be here. So thank you very much for the secretaries and the secretaries. The investment case for adolescents with its particular application to India. Next slide, please. In drafting this report, if I could, thank you, contributed to this project, we've been gratified by the high level of engagement by over 110 experts, photographed there, who participated in the multi-stakeholder collaboration meeting, drawn from government, academia and civil society, many of whom were or represented youth.
And first of all, I would like to thank Rajat and also Professor Bruce for coming to India and making this very important topic and hosting this convention. Adolescent health, as you mentioned, is a very, very important topic. We have 253 million adolescents, as was said, and then Bruce in his presentation showed that the benefit cost ratios of various interventions, whether it is adolescent health, a benefit cost ratio of 5.9, HPV 16.7, TB 71, and final figure of that a 33 billion investment would lead to 476 billion benefit. So these are huge figures, and we also know that in our country, with 253 million adolescents, if we have to grow, if we have to reap the demographic dividend, then it will be only through paying attention to our adolescents, to our children, because they are the generation. And in fact, the efforts of Government of India, which was also shown by Bruce in his presentation, have shown results over the past 10-15 years in terms of child mortality ratio, in terms of infant mortality, in terms of the child marriage. There is a progress in all round. And that is also reflected in our GDP growth, because now we are consistently growing at 7.5 to 8%. And we have reached the 5th largest, we will soon be 3rd largest economy. So all those figures, they reflect that the government is paying adequate attention. Of course, as you mentioned, it is a difficult area because it is a vast country. We have 253 million adolescents spread over urban, rural, various states, remote areas, so it is not an easy proposition. And for us to take all of them, to take care of all, it is a very difficult proposition. It is a multidisciplinary, multi-ministerial task. Today we have colleagues from education, youth affairs, women and child, sports, so many other people are involved. It is not just a health issue. Multi-stakeholder this thing.
Can I quickly intervene? Do you think the human papilloma virus vaccination is doable and can be done soon? Can we expect that soon? Because that has been on the mind of the government.
Yes, human papilloma virus, that has been cleared by the NTAG, and it is a part of our program, and we will soon take a decision on how to go about it. It is definitely under consideration. Wonderful.
Mr. Patil, when you came to Delhi, I think in 2023, the nutrition segment, the intersections and everything. What do you think, Mr. Patil, is the most important coordinated effort that the government is putting in order to expand the educational network for the entire segment of adolescents, considering, most of the countries are signatories to the UN Convention of the Right of the Child. And in that convention, it is our obligation to ensure that every adolescent has access to health services and health information, which are important for them to survive and to grow. So in that particular segment, that sphere, education becomes very important, the role of schools, the role of teachers. How are you looking at that challenge?
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for giving the opportunity. As I think everybody is aware that in 2020 we brought this national education policy, and incidentally we are celebrating the 4th year of this national policy on 29th. Right now we are doing the Shiksha Saptah, 7 days we are doing the today is the 3rd day. We have more than 15 lakh schools and 25 crore students in India, the schools. In government sector, if you see, there are more than 10.5 lakh schools, government and government aided, and more than 12 crore students are studying in that. Right now we are having very important scheme called this Samagya Shiksha. And if you have seen the budget also, it is more than 67 crore for this our school education department itself. A lot of initiatives has been taken under this national education policy. We are revamping, we are modifying our curriculum. We are recently arranged this career counselors for each BRC to the block level for almost all the states. The program is now rolled out. Everybody will be aware that Honorable Prime Minister he discussed with the students Pariksha Pe Charcha. And
for example, we get a lady of 17 and a half years, she is married and she is coming with 6 months pregnancy, okay, in our antenatal OPD. When we see her age, as per rule, we are supposed to inform the police, we are supposed to make a MLC. Then when we tell this lady that we are going to make a MLC and we send the lady to our one-stop center, on the way itself she just ran away because she is married. She says her husband will be persecuted. That is one of the reasons that people are not coming forward for these things. But as far as the school children and college girls are coming, they do come to us and asking about the various safe practices and protection against STI, RTI, and to avoid pregnancy. And there we are duty bound to educate them what are the harms and what is the benefits of using this thing and why should they should delay this thing. Because if you educate, most important thing is education, and awareness. Education and awareness both go hand in hand. If we make them aware of all these things and make them master of their own health, they are total autonomous. If you make them autonomy, privacy, you take care of them, they understand that what is best for them. When they decide for themselves, they themselves stay away from that, and when they decide what is the right time for indulge in all these things. This is one thing. When they are aware of this, it is very easy for them to decide. And of course, we have to make them understand access to contraception, access to safe practices, make them aware of those things, and all this we have to make them aware. Let them decide about themselves. Second thing is, when they do come to us with some health problems like discharge or menstrual problems, it is quite late because it should be at the preventive level. Preventive level should start at the family level. Means the atmosphere in the family should be such that they can discuss freely with their parents regarding the problems, because adolescent is a period where the physical changes are there, psychological changes are there, then of course emotional changes is there. So if that is taking place and hormonal is there. So all those is impacting there. If they can discuss freely with their parents and they can make and understand that this is the natural way of growth like that. Similarly in school level, rather than getting the information from social media or from peer which may be wrong, and they may go in the wrong direction. So it's very important that free and fair atmosphere at home, at school level, so that, and of course when they come us, we have to make them aware and about the risk and all these things, so that they are master of their own health and decide their.
Right, so let's ask our young representative here. Priya Rathore has a very, very interesting bio. She is a change maker for Girls Not Brides, which is an initiative to end child marriages in Rajasthan, and she leads the campaign for several foundations. Very important judgment with respect to prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. So she comes from that land. So let's ask Priya, what was the most important challenge that you as an adolescent faced? Because we are here to talk about increased investments in adolescent health and other sectors, and also about challenges being faced by adolescents. So you as a representative, can you tell us a little bit about your own life journey? What was your struggle?
Thank you for the question. I think in Rajasthan has been one of the highest cases of child marriage in India. And we see the cases are being registered not completely, as there is no sure data of Rajasthan, that of India, that we have decreased data of child marriages. but it's not true because cases are not being registered. And I will openly say about because let me explain more. अगर मैं कहना चाहूँ कि चाइल्ड मैरिज अगर हो रही है तो उसको बचाया जाता है, उसको सिर्फ पुलिस स्टेशन जाने से बचाया जाता है, लेकिन उनको ये नहीं मालूम कि चाइल्ड मैरिज होने के बाद उसके हेल्थ पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहे हैं, क्या उसको सर्विसेज मिल रही है। अगर आप हमारे आंगनबाड़ी सेंटर से देखें तो जो टीनेज प्रेगनेंसी है उनको वो टीकाकरण से वंचित है, उनको टीकाकरण नहीं मिल रहा है क्योंकि वो चाइल्ड मैरिज है, वो वहाँ नहीं जा सकते, वो हेल्थ सेंटर्स पे नहीं जाते। उसका फर्क महिला के हेल्थ स्वास्थ्य में पड़ रहा है, उसको मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज हो रहे हैं, उसको इमोशनल ट्रॉमास हो रहे हैं। सेकेंडली मैं पॉलिसीज और प्रोग्राम्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं, लेकिन गैप कहाँ है पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम और मॉनिटरिंग में। मैं ग्रामीण क्षेत्र से आती हूँ और जब आप ग्रामीण क्षेत्र तक पहुँचते हैं तो मॉनिटरिंग और इवोल्यूशन नहीं है, प्लान और पॉलिसीज है कि वहाँ तक कितनी पॉलिसीज पहुँच रही है ये आपने कभी अवेलेबल नहीं किया और सही मायने में नहीं किया। क्योंकि अभी मैं देखूँ तो एडोलेसेंट्स हम हैं, हमें क्या समस्याएं हैं, हमारी शायद पॉलिसीज प्रोग्राम्स उन तक जा रहे हैं जिनको भी जरूरत नहीं है, उनके लिए जाने चाहिए जिनको सच में जरूरत है, वह ग्रामीण क्षेत्र, वो भले राजस्थान हो, भले पूरा इंडिया हो, कोई भी स्टेट हो, उनमें वो पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम्स की मॉनिटरिंग अच्छे तरीके से होनी चाहिए। दूसरी चीज़ अभी सर ने बोला कि मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज हैं, हम एजुकेशन से हम उसको कर सकते हैं, स्कूलिंग से कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर हम देखें कि ऑनसेट मेंस्ट्रुएशन टाइमिंग इज 12 to 14 years, but now it is from 8 to 7 years. एंड गर्ल्स को 8 to 7 years में ना तो उनके पेरेंट्स उसके लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, ना टीचर्स उसके लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं। उसकी वजह से उनको मेंटल ट्रॉमास हो रहे हैं, उनको फिजिकल ट्रॉमास हो रहे हैं, टेंशन हो रही हैं और उनको एजुकेशन का इफेक्ट हो रहा है। Did we notice that? No, we are not on that. I think it's high time for us to focus on early developments, early menstruation, and it's high time for us to work on that. अभी मैं फील्ड विजिट में गई, मैंने लड़की से पूछा आप स्कूल क्यों नहीं जा रहे, उन्होंने बोला मैं पीरियड्स आ रहे थे, स्कूल नहीं जा रहे। I asked her how many days you don't go. She said 1 week in a month. Now can you realize एक लड़की अर्ली मेंस्ट्रुएशन के कारण एक मंथ में एक वीक स्कूल नहीं जा रहा। How can you expect her education that will be so strong? I was so broken and I thought what I could do for her. And it's time for us to come and spread awareness on early menstruation and developments. Let teach teachers, parents, because parents think that 11 to 12 year age of menstruation and they wait for that time. That when we will come to 10 and 11, we will educate our daughter. Why not from 5 to 6? Why we are not making our education system so strong and why we are not converting it into so awareness system?
I think that's an excellent point. मतलब ज़मीनी जो हकीकत है वो यहाँ स्टेज पे लाने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका प्रिया, क्योंकि ये जो आपने कहा ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। डॉक्टर मिस्टर चंद्रा, आई विल कम बैक टू यू सर। What she said just now, I think now that we are going to take some concluding remarks from all our panelists, I think we can ask Mr. Chandra. We have heard, sir, that India and the government Ministry of Health is working on a menstrual hygiene policy, and something what Priya just said. Could you say something on that and maybe make concluding remarks so that we can gain from your experience, sir?
Menstrual hygiene is a part of our health programs and providing free menstrual products to the women, I mean to the girl child in the school. That is a very important part of our health program. Of course, I mean as we are mentioned, and at the ground level things may be somewhat different, and of course nobody can deny that, because programs at a higher level we can see at a higher level from the implementation. It is difficult to ensure that each and every village or each and every district, each and every school will have the same level of participation and same level of compliance with the programs. And that is always a challenge. I agree with that, and there is always some difference between what we plan and what actually happens on the ground with do tonight. As regards now coming to the other issues of the development protein demands, I think India is the only country which Rashtriya Kishore Shiksha Kishore Swasthya Program. That is a program targeted solely at adolescents. So this by itself shows the commitment of the government, and this program was launched as a part of the election in 2014. So India being the only country, we recognize that the health of adolescents is very important for our country. Then the school health education program, which was launched in 2020, which again goes on to the Kishore Swasthya. So that will continue. And now when we are launching, we are the cusp of launching the UWIN, which is an extension of COVID. And COVID, as we all know, was one of the most successful programs where 2.2 billion COVID vaccines were administered during that short period of 6 months, and all because of the digital record of a COVID platform. That we are that we are now extending to vaccinations. And with UWIN, we will have almost 30 million newborn children every year on a UWIN platform, where all the vaccines will be recorded and there will be no child left behind in terms of vaccine. The continuous record, a digital record. So effectively, in 10 years, when these children reach adolescent age, after 10 years, we will have a record of almost 300 million young Bharatiyas on digital platform. And that will continue during the adolescent program when their medical checkups happen in the school or in the colleges, with every continuum, and that continuous digital record of them will be a great game changer, I believe, over the long term.
That sounds very promising, sir.
And one more thing I would like to say. I think Rajat made a very important point regarding positive values. So, and I think Priya is here from Seeker, which is now emerged as one of the centers for coaching along with Kota. So in this, mentorship also plays a very important program, and I would say that when our Prime Minister very personally addresses during Maisha Pekarcha almost 6 million youngsters every year, that itself goes a long way in easing their mental trauma, mental tensions, and their anxieties about their future. So this sort of mentorship, and when the collector of Kota goes to coaching institutes, that also goes a long way. So these sort of things, mentorship also helps in the way.
That's an excellent and especially coming at a time when we are, all looking at the Supreme Court for its directions in the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test issue. Mr. Pandit, you represent the Education Ministry here, so I am going to take a cue from what Mr. Chandra said and ask you, for concluding remarks also, and a quick comment also on the coaching, the coaching business. The Prime Minister has repeatedly tried to inspire youngsters, and he keeps quoting Swami Vivekananda and keeps telling youngsters that, like the Indian philosopher Saint Swami Vivekananda used to say, look within for the power that lies within you, call upon that power and you are able to do anything.
Yes, sir, already true that we are working with RBSK, and thank you to RBSK that more than 8 crore students has last year got health checkup in various aspects. Regarding this coaching factory, we already issued, Minister of Education has already issued circular, and the order has been already issued that certain private university, the higher education department has done that. And everybody is aware that Pariksha Pe Charcha is our biggest program, and the Prime Minister himself, he worked with the exam warriors, and he himself tried to ease out this pressure from the Now coming back to the what PIA is brought out, definitely we noted national curriculum framework which has been rolled out for the primary and upper primary schools in India right now, where this has been included and sanitary pads are provided to all the schools. This has been issued. But yes, there may be some schools where this has been happening. We are really very important, so we again work out on it. So there are many machines available in this. Regarding mentoring, now our ministry has come out with this national mentoring mission, where we request all of you also to join. There is you go to the Ministry of Education website. National mentoring mission is there, where everybody can join, and here you can start mentoring the students as well as the teachers also. We are working for the professional standards for the teachers also. This year has been launched. One more mission which is I again request all the guests in this hall as well as the NGOs and social bodies, that Vidyanjali program is there. So you can join your own school, try to help the quality of education in your school. So everybody can donate also physical things, only we are accepting them, not money. So if they can interact with the concerned headmasters and go back to the schools and adopt some schools, that can also done. So I think last 3-4 years, if we see this education ecosystem is changing in India. We are told that this digital health cards, or we are having this holistic progress cards under this product. So they are also including this health parameters.
Thank you for that information, very valuable information, and of course a call from the Education Ministry for also Jan Bhagidari. That's also the slogan of Prime Minister, that nothing can be achieved on individual levels. We all have to come together if this has to be a success story. Coming to Dr. Yadav, top government leaders are sitting here. Do you have any wish list? This is the time to say it.
But I don't know whether I should.
You should.
The age of this should be reduced because the scenarios we see, the environment we see, I think make people safe around you. Make them feel safe around you, especially the girls, because it's a big thing for us. Second thing, जैसे सर ने भी बोला कि हम adults के यूथ के लिए एक रोल मॉडल होना बहुत ज़रूरी है ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में और सभी के लिए. एज मैं UNFPA में जब मैं यूथ एडवाइज़र ग्रुप मेंबर बनी तो मुझे पता लगा कि हमारे लिए क्या प्रोग्राम्स हैं और क्या प्लानिंग्स हैं और मेरे लोगों के लिए कितना कुछ है लेकिन वो उन तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहा. सो आई एम नाउ ब्रिजिंग दैट गैप बिटवीन माई पीपल and the UNFP programs. So same that can be happening with all of the policies and programs in our country. Let's prepare a group of adults and young people who can act as a mediator between policy programs and people of our country. Thank you.
आपने जो मेंटल हेल्थ की बात की है, अब मेरी उम्र 70 साल के करीब है और हम यही सुनते आ रहे हैं कि जितना हम वॉक करते हैं सुबह के टाइम या शाम के टाइम, तो जो मेंटल बीइंग है वो चूँकि ब्लड सर्कुलेशन आपका माइंड में जाता है, तो जितनी भी प्रॉब्लम है वो चाहे घर की हो, ऑफिस की हो, बाहर की हो, वो अपने आप उसमें डिफ्यूज़ हो जाती है. इसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं सर? बिकॉज यू आर एन एक्सपर्ट, आई वुड लाइक टू हियर फ्रॉम यू. थैंक यू.
ये बात सही है कि अगर हम फिजिकल एक्टिविटी करते हैं जिसमें वॉकिंग भी शामिल है तो उससे हमारे स्वास्थ्य पर ओवरऑल और मेंटल हेल्थ दोनों पर पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट पड़ता है. उसके फिजियोलॉजिकल पहलू भी है, जैसा कि आपने कहा कि उससे शरीर में मूवमेंट है, बॉडी के सिस्टम्स में मूवमेंट होती है, और उसके साइकोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट्स भी हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल एक कॉन्सेप्ट है जिसको हम ग्राउंडिंग बोलते हैं. ग्राउंडिंग का मतलब है कि हम कैसे अपने आसपास के एनवायरनमेंट से जुड़ें, ना कि अपने ही विचारों में खोए रहें, उससे फ़ायदा मिलता है. दूसरी बात, जब हम वॉक करते हैं, कोई भी फिजिकल एक्टिविटी करते हैं, तो वी आर डिस्कनेक्टेड फ्रॉम द वरीज, जो हमारी आमतौर की चिंताएं हैं, टेंशन है, उससे हम अलग हो पाते हैं. जब हम इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ में एंगेज होते हैं तो हम एनवायरनमेंट के करीब जाते हैं, तो वो एक और पॉजिटिव फैक्टर है. तो आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि ऐसा करने से मानसिक स्वास्थ्य पर पॉजिटिव सकारात्मक प्रभाव पड़ता है, और ये सबको करना चाहिए, ना सिर्फ शरीर बल्कि मन की हालत भी इससे सुधरेगी.
And we all discussed the different work that the ministries are doing. We looked at our interministerial definition, like we made an investment case of why we need investment. But I would really want to know, as a next step, what are we going to do to ensure that there is interministerial coordination? Is there a plan of action? Is there a strategic approach where all the ministries come together to look at a holistic plan of action for adolescent health and well-being, as we talk about it like as one term? So how do we bring all these ministries who are working in different silos?
So key questions on coordination efforts.
One part of is what accountability framework are we setting to take this forward and measure the outcomes and.
So coordination and accountability, sir.
As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a coordinated approach and a lot of ministries work together. Let's say even if we talk of the Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, we cannot implement it without the Ministry of Education. And it is a part of, we work very closely for the school health program as well as the Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya कार्यक्रम, not only with the school health ministry here, the higher education ministry, and also the state governments, they also are a very integral part of all this. And then the Department of Women and Child Development, which have a number of their schemes, and that also feeds into this. The Ministry of Youth Affairs, unfortunately, because of the parliament session, some of their representatives could not be here. But then the Nehru Yuva Kendra and NSS, NCC, they are all a part of this. And then when I mentioned about the UN, I mentioned only for the children. But then our effort is that once a child is born, after that the child goes to Anganwadi, which is controlled by the Department of Women and Child Development. So that continuum of what the health record, because the weight is taken every week, every 15 days, that record becomes a part of the electronic record, and that is controlled by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Then the Poshan tracker, all the records of Poshan tracker, they also get linked. Subsequently, the child goes to the school, so then the school health records get linked, so it becomes a continuum in that sense. And I think we are not facing any problem with coordination, are we?